It is time once again for Storm the Field, Kansas State. But since we're talking about basketball, it's only fitting that we name this episode Storm the Court. So let's get into it. I mean, the second half was a lot better than the first for sure, but they showed a lot of potential for what they could be this season if they really get it together. Tyler Carter is joining us from Believe in Iowa State. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Great to have you on.
Thanks for letting me join, man. I'm watching. Speaking of basketball, watching them in Maui. Iowa State is winning by 14 points. They're looking really, really good against Auburn right now.
That's good.
So
Two ranked teams, too.
yeah, two top five teams at that, and
Yeah.
UConn just went down against
To
Auburn,
Memphis.
yeah, to Memphis today. So I mean, now there's the Maui the Maui tournament is shaping up to be something really, really special.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Big 12 season is going to be fun for sure.
No, definitely, man. I'm looking forward to it. We still have some matchups before that. I know next week. Next Wednesday we host Marquette in the Big East Big 12 challenge at home. So just with the fact with everything on the line, and obviously, of course, I know just to move the football real quick with Farmageddon. That's just gonna be an amazing atmosphere and Jack Trice. But like, yeah, for to stick with basketball, I'm really, really excited, especially with our matchups, especially with all the vitriol and the matchups from last year. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. Yeah, and those Big 12 Big East challenges are always exciting.
Yeah, oh, definitely, man. That's why I'm glad we actually got a good draw. Um, Especially because I don't know if they just go by random draw. But for Big East, but I figured that they were gonna play a top opponent since they finished second in the Big 12 last year. Because last year I went, and because the game was in Chicago when we played DePaul, so I mean that was like easy thing for me, and that game was like 90% Iowa State fans. It was like a home game, but like I always love the Big 12 Big East Challenge.
Yeah, no, they're exciting. And, we've got, I think, what, 4 games before we even get into Big 12 play for K State. So we've got a few games to really tune in and get prepared because the first half looked just like the last game against Liberty, where we did not look prepared at all. And it was once again one of those deals where we couldn't run an offense to save our life for some reason. And this game, the second half of it, was a lot better, and we saw a lot more of those explosive plays that we should have been seeing the entire season.
Yeah, man, definitely. I didn't get to check that one out. But did they actually like look better as a collective in their game?
Yeah, the first half, it was way closer than it should have been, and they just didn't play that great in the first half. But in the second half, no, they really, really came to life a lot better than they had in the first half. Because the second half, they started throwing a lot better passes, making a lot better moves. Decisions with the basketball were a lot better. And they played as a team collectively, and they actually ran some sort of an offense, which is something that we haven't seen all year.
Gotcha, gotcha. Hey, well, I'm gonna talk to my friends before halftime for this Maui game. But are you good with coming on Wednesday for the show on Believe for the farmer
Oh, yeah.
preview? All right, I'll send you everything, and then we will talk on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to speaking with you about this Farmageddon matchup.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. You have a good night tonight, and we will talk to you on
All right,
Wednesday.
man. See ya.
Take care, bud. Jeremy, how are you feeling? You got does Oklahoma State play any games tonight?
Just women's. They I think they won.
That'd be good. Our women's team lost to Duke, who is number 13. So,
Yeah, I think we last time I checked, we were up 25-0 to start off the game. Let me look. I was busy putting the kids down and stuff. Let me look. Cowgirl basketball, Chicago State. Yeah, 113 to 50.
I would hope that you have the 100. And
Oh yeah.
okay,
Oh yeah.
what did you say? 113 to 58,
Yeah, 113 to 50.
50.
Yeah.
Dang, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with Coach Hoyt and what she's brought in. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really followed the women's basketball very much over the years. I kind of did a little bit after Coach Bucky and our assistant got in a plane crash, But after that, I kind of fallen off. But now it's kind of getting to the point where it's picking up some steam.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that the Big 12, in terms of men's and women's basketball, is really coming alive right now. Like, we've got a real potential to have several teams contend for a national championship.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just kind of cool to see what Caitlin Clark did for the game. 100%. She's the reason why I think it's got so much publicity in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, it's a great thing for the women's basketball, where her and like Aoka Lee and Gabby Gregory, where they brought a whole different kind of fan base, to the sport, and they did great things, especially Aoka Lee,
Hmm.
putting up 61 points in a game. That was
Hmm.
crazy. And then for her to have done that against someone who she was going to become teammates with later on, Gabby Gregory, because I was against Oklahoma when Gabby played for them, and that's just fun to think about that those two ended up teaming up together and becoming a great force. I just wish we could have seen it for at least one more year.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, Gabby, she was a Tulsa product, and I know when she left OU, I know a bunch of people were, upset, but I was glad to see she found a pretty good spot there in Kansas State.
Had a great opportunity.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's a great deal for her and for us, and she's even coming back up every once in a while from Tulsa, where she's moved back down there, and she's coming back up every once in a while and training kids in Kansas,
Hmm.
just trying to help spread her basketball knowledge, doing wonderful
Yeah.
things.
Seems like Kansas State and like all their sports have always had a pretty good connection to Tulsa and Oklahoma as a general. You choking on it again?
I swear, it happens every time. Except normally I can edit it out. But these I've just been rolling with it, so it's whatever. If I die live, I die live. I mean,
Die doing what you love.
ugh. Yeah, something like that. At least we love what we're doing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking through the stat sheet here, and uh I saw earlier where Coleman Hawkins had 19 points in K State's game. They ended up beating. Now, this is one of the greatest names for a college in Longwood.
Longwood.
Like, that's wonderful. Longwood. We beat them 80 to 64, but not only did Hawkins score 19, which is exactly what we expect from him,
Hmm.
especially him getting paid that kind of money, but he also grabbed 10 rebounds and had 5 assists. So he's helping. He's helping in all the other ways too.
Where's Longwood University at?
Uh, honestly, I couldn't tell you.
At first,
Hang on
yeah,
just a
at
sec.
first I thought it was what's that one? Is it Lindenwood? The one that's
Yeah, the one that KU played in
yeah,
football at the
yeah,
beginning of the year.
yeah, but no Longwood. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to look
I'm
that
looking
up.
it up right now, and we'll see where. It sounds like it's like an East
See where it goes.
Farmville, Virginia.
Wow.
Farmville, Virginia. That's what I love about like March Madness and everything. You always got those teams that nobody's ever heard of, and you look it up, and it's always some random spot in the East Coast, usually where it's at.
Yeah, it's like, who in the world are they? But they came to play in the tournament. They made it there. That's all that matters.
Hmm. There's Ollie.
Yeah, no, it was good to see just the growth of this team from one half to the next because the first half just looked brutal and some of the things were that we saw on the court was questionable, but in the second half they were able to clean that up a lot,
Yeah.
and uh, it was a lot better than what we've seen previously.
Hmm.
It gives you a little bit of hope going into the season, going further into the season and into Big 12 play that maybe this team can actually get it together and play good and make a run, like they did when they made it to the Elite Eight.
Do you guys go to Arizona this year?
Uh, Hang on just a second. I'm not sure about that. I don't know what,
I was trying to figure out who goes down to
because
McHale this year because that, I know they're not looking as good as people thought they would, but still, that would be an awesome place to go watch a basketball game at just for the experience.
nope, they come to Bramlage.
Do they?
Yep. Yeah, they come to Bramlage, so that'll be fun.
We go, I'm looking here, our road games so far, Big 12 play. It looks like we go to West Virginia, we go to Salt Lake City, and then 3 days later we go to Marriott. We go to Provo.
Hell yeah. Oh, forgive me. No profanity. Heck yeah.
Was that Ollie?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. You're good. You know that ain't
No,
bad.
just coming from a BYU guy, they're going to cancel
You
my
and your
account.
Mormon ass. You and your Mormon ass.
Did I see that Marriott is the biggest arena in the Big 12?
Yeah, it's almost 17. It's almost 20,000. I think they changed some seating recently. So let me look.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
big.
no, we get
It's
that's a
18,
brutal stretch in
18,000.
February. That's pretty good.
It's big. So it seats more than
That's
the
pretty
Delta
good.
Center, if I remember right, which is where the Jazz play
Jeez.
up north.
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
we're
that's
serious about
insane.
our basketball, and they have to make sure that every player and their 8 kids, fits in the center. So,
Yeah, you got to make sure that everyone in their
no, for
family,
real,
fits in there
Does
you
does
comfortably.
walk
Danny
through and it's
Ainge
like
does he give a
90% kids.
does Danny Ainge give a
Yeah.
lot back to BYU? Is he a pretty big donor?
I think it's more too because he used to be on the East Coast repping the Celtics, which God bless America. And then he came back to the Jazz and he's their GM right now. And since then, he's been a lot more involved with BYU sports, especially since Ryan Smith bought the Jazz and the what were the Arizona Coyotes, now the Utah Hockey Club. they're donating, I mean, tons of money. They're trying to get that AJ Dabastanya kid, if I remembered how to say his last name correctly. But they're they're both like collectively, I think, looking to give like almost $5 million to get the kid here. So like they're all in.
Yeah, no, I saw that the other day and I was like, wow. And we discussed that on one of the other shows that yeah, they were prepared to offer like 5 or 7 million or something
Oh,
like
it's
that. And
insane.
I was blown like K-State really wants him and stuff, but we ain't gonna put up that kind of money, especially after seeing what our $2 million is getting
For
us
sure.
so far this year.
We it's just like a fun time for BYU sports because like you have basketball. I mean, football was bad last year, but basketball last year was predicted, last place, and then they come out and they get to like fifth place in the conference, and then they pick up that Yegor Demin kid from Russia who comes in and is basically just having the time of his life playing pro ball with a bunch of 18-year-olds that he is. And then, we get that, and then football's doing great. So it's just like a crazy time thinking that all the sports were going to suck for a couple of years, and then it's like, surprise, which I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fine with me.
What's BYU baseball like?
Yeah.
Are they any good?
Oh, BYU baseball is rough. I like coming like BYU. We're ultimate landscapers. We have like 5 or 6 landscaping championships in a row. We just won both men and women's cross country national championships. But then you get to like baseball and softball, and I think our time in the WCC didn't really help with recruiting very much. And so hopefully over the next couple seasons, like we'll see the recruiting pick up because right now it is not great to say the least.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
the
it
Big
could be
12 is
worse.
really getting in a spot now with baseball that I think that we're kind of neck and neck with the SEC as far as
Oh yeah,
the product because OSU, I mean, Kansas State, man, you guys last year, you guys were really good. Would you guys beat Arkansas in the regionals?
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, and the regionals, and we had a lot of hope going into the next round that we could maybe pull off another upset and move on, but
Yeah.
it just didn't work out that way. And shoot, I think it was their series against Arkansas that uh I think they didn't give up a run for like until like one of the very last innings or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was some I can't remember exactly the wild stat it was, but my buddy Parker that does our Kansas athlete spotlight normally, he he's big into baseball and he lives there in Manhattan. So
Yeah, I've never understood why Iowa State doesn't have a baseball program. That never made sense to me.
well, we don't have a softball program and it
really?
upsets me.
That's
Like, why
true.
don't
Yeah.
we?
Yeah. Why don't you guys? That's
Because we
weird.
had a semi-local girl that had committed to play for Iowa State, and she had said, and her mother had said when I was talking to her because I was
Big man
uh,
on campus.
I was interviewing her for her place in the Kansas athlete spotlight in one of our other shows, and she had said that if K-State had a softball program, she would have rather went there than going to Iowa State, but she wanted to stay in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Hmm. See, OSU, we don't have volleyball, and I know that's always been a pretty big point of contention. A lot of talent, in the Oklahoma City and Tulsa area in volleyball, but we've never,
Never
you
been
know,
able to tap that market.
I don't know how much of a market it is, but it would be fun for the
Yeah.
students, and
There are people that really care about
oh yeah,
volleyball. I
you,
mean, there are, and it's like I don't
I'm not gonna lie.
typically, but
Have y'all been to a college volleyball match before?
I haven't.
That stuff, I'm not gonna lie, that might be one of the all-time best student athlete like environments that I've seen outside of like obviously your main football, basketball, because I feel like those two it's hard to compare anything to, you know.
Yeah, well,
But
when Nebraska when they filled up the Memorial
oh,
Stadium
their
for that
stadium,
volleyball game,
yeah.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's electric in there. Like I've been to a couple of the men's and women's BYU volleyball games, and if they're against a good opponent, and usually they're pretty good, like it's pretty fun to watch because they're just going for it, and you're like, holy shit, like this is nuts.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, no, I've heard it's a lot of fun. And, K State's women's volleyball team did fairly well this season. So, and I know Ottawa University, their volleyball team did really well this season. So they had a winning record. I know that. And, they were honored at one of the half times of one of the last games we went to. So
I remember whenever
that was kind of
I
cool.
I think it was Utah. It was Utah because Utah they have beach volleyball, don't they, Ollie?
Uh I actually don't know if they have beach volleyball. I don't associate too much with that trash school up north, respectfully, but
I think it was them that was. It was either them talking
Ouch.
about beach volleyball or talking about skiing. I know they
oh,
got
I think
skiing,
they got
but they
skiing
were
and they're pretty good.
they were freaking out. Oh, we're going to the Big 12. There's no ski schools. I'm like, there's like 6 ski schools in the United States.
No,
Like,
you
I
literally
don't
got
know what
you
you're.
maybe a couple in Colorado or like back east somewhere, and then that's about it. So your
Yeah.
competition is about beating 3 other people on the slopes, and that's about all you got.
Y'all's beef
I
is
always
amazing.
enjoyed skiing. I always enjoyed skiing, but I sure as heck wouldn't want to do it competitively.
No, I'm fine watching in the
I can see
Olympics though.
myself wiping
Oh
out.
yeah, I like
It's like
watching,
me.
and I'm like, oh
It's like me. I love bass fishing, but I never wanted to be a tournament bass fisherman because I think it would just take the fun out of it for me. Anything you do for your recreation, when you
Exactly.
turn it into a business, it changes the whole dynamic of it. So, I've never skied before, but I'm sure I would like it. But I'm like, I wouldn't want to do it for like competition because that would just take every bit of fun out of it for me. But yeah, Utah fans,
Yeah,
that was what
exactly.
was so that's what like we were talking about it last night about how just pretentious they were when they came into this league about all the things that the Big 12 was trash at, but everything that was like positive was like that stuff's so irrelevant. We don't even care about any of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and I like your point about the fishing deal because I could go out, sit out on a pond all day long and catch 100 fish or catch zero fish and be
Hmm.
happy. That's the point of fishing. You just go out there and enjoy your time. You're not out there for a competition. I think that would take the fun out of it.
Yeah, my grandpa, he lived by one of the best lakes here in Oklahoma, Lake Tenkiller, and he fished every day. But that was a big tournament fishing lake, and man, you saw those people out there, and they look miserable. It's like, man, they're having to keep all this. They had to keep up with all their crap and everything. And I was like, man, I'm so glad I don't have to do that. I'm just out here just fishing and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. And Utah just trying to I think they were just letting out a bunch of steam because they didn't get into the Big Ten, and that just really hurt their
Well,
feelings.
I don't get their patriotism towards the Pac-12. I never understood that.
Yeah, it was a dying breed
I
anyway.
never understood why they were so protective of it when the product wasn't any good, but B, when it was obvious that they were dying, and I never understood why they were always mad at the Big 12. They weren't mad at USC and UCLA for taking the first shot to leave. Like that's where my attention would have been. Be more mad at them, not be mad at the Big 12 for just simply existing.
Accepting you. Yeah, exactly. And we gave them a place to go when they didn't have anywhere else.
They're not as cool as BYU.
Yeah, exactly. And BYU was absolutely phenomenal about wanting to be in the conference. And they weren't the only ones, but, a lot of the other teams were too. So it's like, why is everybody else, happy to be here and Utah's not?
Oh
Yo,
yeah.
hello. New to the space. Name's George.
How's it going, George?
Tree City, how you doing?
Oh, could always be worse.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking a little bit about the Big 12 and Utah being shitty, joining and shit. But I'll tell you what, I was excited for the new Big 12 and all the new teams. But it's weird seeing like fucking Arizona State and BYU and Colorado at the top. Like, good for them.
It
BYU is
is.
killing it, and they're a good team. Arizona State's a good team too, but like, man, it is weird seeing them at the top of the Big 12 right now.
Yeah, exactly. No, we were really happy to have all of them join, but it was just one of those deals that we were just kind of shook by how they reacted to them joining when everybody else was so happy to join. Once now that they're members, we want them to succeed just like everyone else. They're a part of the family now, and BYU, Arizona State, Colorado, all those guys that are doing great in football and that are going to do great in basketball, Arizona, and, BYU again. It adds great brands to the Big 12, and that's what we
For real.
want.
Yeah, and I have a Utah buddy, and he's kind of upset about how things are going, but I'm enjoying the shit talk that I'm giving him.
Yeah.
He was telling
Yeah.
me about I see storm the field 14 BYU. You are I got to ask you about the cougar tail.
Oh, it's like a foot long maple bar donut.
Yeah, I've heard about it, and I want to try some.
This shit is delicious. As Robert Griffin said on a broadcast, he called it the glizzy of donuts. It's like, I mean, like it's one of those things that you don't want to know the nutritional info on it when you like buy one, but you're probably gonna eat the whole damn thing. Like I'll go to a game and without fail, most times I'm pulling up to get my refillable souvenir cup to collect that has my blue Powerade in it and then a cougar tail, and that's what powers my voice before it goes out about halftime.
Did
So
RG3
it's worth it though.
did he deep throat the cougar tail like he did the croissant?
Oh, he did on TV. That bro took like the biggest bite, and I was like, he's got some extra space back there.
It was funny to me that he did.
Yeah. He was showing it
He
off.
posted that video. I posted that picture over the summer of him deep throating that croissant. And then like
Oh
2 days
yes,
later,
Paris.
ESPN was like, "You know what? We're just gonna fire you. Like, quit
Which is
embarrassing
one of the
us."
worst moves I've ever seen in my life. Because that dude on a football broadcast he was electric. Like there'd be times where if he was just like if he was broadcasting or announcing on a game, like I'd watch it just because he's funny. And the stuff he'd say, I'm like, you're wild, but like you're spitting facts, so I'm gonna allow it.
No, he was really, really good. And I think literally everyone was questioning that why they let him go just over one stupid little
Well,
thing.
but that same week though was the week that he called out Paul Feinbaum and told Paul Feinbaum, because Paul Feinbaum said that Deion Sanders was mediocre and he wouldn't last anywhere else. And then RG3 got all. I mean, I saw both sides to it. I didn't agree with either one of them because
Man,
I
I'm
don't
not a big fan
agree
of Paul
that
Feinbaum. I don't
Feinbaum should
agree
have
with
said
anything he
that,
says.
but I don't think that RG3 should have gotten like that upset by someone's opinion. You know what I mean? And
He's a
he
big
called.
Colorado homer and the like prime homer that he's like if you even follow him on Twitter or anything like that dude is always posting like interviews with those kids or whatever. Like he's in love with that program too for
Well, and that's
some
one thing I don't
reason.
like about him is the night that Baylor lost to them this year, he acted more happy for Colorado than he was his alma mater losing to
Yeah.
Colorado. I'm like, dude, this is backwards. And that's why I don't get the whole Colorado mirage. Like, it's fun and all that Deion's there, I guess. I don't care about Deion Sanders, but it gets annoying. I mean, that's the thing. If they do win the Big 12 championship, we're never going to hear the end of it. So I pray that, well, I would say I pray that we can beat them this week, but I've got a better chance at winning the lottery tomorrow than that happening.
Go
So,
buy yourself a ticket, brother, because both are happening. Let's go, Pokes.
Yep.
yeah. I have no
Yeah.
doubt after this week we could score on them because their defense
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
great either. But our defense, man, I mean, there's more holes in the freaking our defense than there is an Iraqi submarine, man.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I mean, it could be one of those games where
Shots
it's
fired.
56-52. I mean, that could be the final score on Friday. I mean,
Oh Lord. Yeah, I can see both defenses just completely giving
but
up.
I think Gundy, like after hearing him talk yesterday and hearing him talk today, I think the team is kind of rallied up, and this could be it. Just give it your all on Friday because this is our bowl game. Might as well just go out there and swing for the fences on them.
You think Gundy's coming back? Do you want him to come back, or are you on like a let's get
Yeah,
some fresh
I want
eyes
him. I
kind of
want him
deal?
back. I want him back. I think that
I don't want to see him go out
No, I
like
like
that.
no,
Gundy a lot. That I'd love for him to come back and get a crack at the Big 12 championship, or at least get like a 9-3 season. Go Pop Tart bowling in Orlando or something.
no. I mean,
No,
he's
we're the only team destined to win the Pop Tart
No,
Bowl.
I've been mad tweeting it like because I'm mad at BYU and we never make coaching changes for our OC who literally can't make changes during the game, and I'm just like, I hope we make the Pop Tarts Bowl. Like at that point, just give us the same fate as K State. I'm fine with that.
I mean, I have a hard time thinking that Mike Gundy deserves to be fired when he is the identity of this program for the last 20 years. I don't agree with a lot of what's happened this year, but I think if he can make the right changes and we can actually, like, look, we're one of the top dogs in the conference. And I say that proudly. Like, we have been for the last 20 years, and I think we'll continue to be. It's just, this was unfortunately our reset, like a hard reality check, time to get everything right. But I think if he can't adapt if next year because we're having a big senior turnover this year, so next year it'll be up in the air whether or not we even go to a bowl game. But if we can get to a bowl game next year and show some good signs of improvement, I'll feel good about it. But he has got to make some changes at coaches because he's so loyal to his assistants. And the weirdest thing about Gundy is, so when we hired Mike Yursich as our offensive coordinator, who after he left OSU, he went to Ohio State, Texas, and then Penn State. We got him from Shippensburg Community College or Shippensburg University out of Pennsylvania. He always likes to hire these guys that are from like little bitty Division II schools up in the Northeast. And now it's like he's done really good with it because he's got Yursich, he got Sean Gleason, he got who else did he get? I think that may have been it. But now with Nardo on defense, it's been a just complete disaster. And it's like, dude, quit trying to make these weird, flashy hires of guys that will impress everybody. Hire somebody that everybody knows. Hire somebody that can relate to this team. And if he can't do that, then yeah, I mean, I think it's time to move on. But I'm not really in the same camp that a lot of people are. That he's established this thing, and it'll be great. I kind of worry that could we go back to where we were 25 years ago, but I can't live like that. So I think he can do it, but he's got a lot of proving to do.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I said, I would hate to see him go out that way, and I really think that if he can get past it, where he can make the necessary coaching changes, I think that they will go back to relevancy. very quickly. I think next year they'll make a good bowl game and they'll be back.
Yeah.
No
Well, he
problem.
said today in the press conference that all three of our quarterbacks are pretty much coming back next year, which is awesome. But then again, we'll have a true freshman quarterback coming in next year. Jet NIU, or whatever how you say it. He's from Lehigh in Utah, and he looks like he's really good. So we might lose one quarterback in the portal, but
Who's that?
the more I do what now?
Who was the quarterback you were talking about? Sorry, it cut out.
Oh, well, the quarterback that could go in the portal or the quarterback that we're getting?
Both.
The quarterback we're getting is Jet. NIU is his last name. He's from Lehigh in Utah. So you might know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming to OSU. And so everybody's really high on him. But I think Rangel might go in the portal. I don't see Zane Flores going in the portal. And I don't want to see Mayo Luwaki Smith because how good he played on Saturday. But, he's a West Coast kid. He came from the same high school as Tom Brady. So he might want to go back to California, but I sure hope not because he showed that he's a very reliable backup.
I feel like a lot of these kids now, like the NIL makes it kind of a pain in the ass a little bit, respectfully. But I feel like a lot of these kids are realizing like if they want to play and like make a name for themselves. Not that like OSU or like Big 12 schools are smaller, but like if you know you're going to be a backup somewhere else, like I want to go somewhere to get my name out. Like you think of like Ashton Jeanty, like he stayed to build his legacy, and like I think more people need to follow that pattern. Like stay with the school they start with if they have a shot, rather than like let me keep bouncing around, or especially
Jump
trying to find
around.
this money. Like this isn't the NFL. Like build your legacy and then go to the draft. Like quit just being like, oh, I want a lot of money. Like just go where you can play.
Well, that's where I think the
Yeah.
problem is with programs like Oregon. They're stacking these rosters up, but if you watch them play, a lot of those big names, they're just in the mix now. Like they don't stick out anymore. Like Evan Stewart when he went from Texas A&M to Oregon, or Jabbar Muhammad, who jumped from Oklahoma State to Washington and now Oregon. I mean, I know he's doing good this year, but he's not sticking.
I have a special message for Kobe Savage, and he transferred from
Oh, that's right. He's
K-State
there now
to
too. Yeah, he's there
Oregon.
now. Yeah,
Yeah, he ran his mouth a
and
lot.
his dad did too,
And
didn't he?
Who's that?
yeah, Kobe Savage. I was respectful to him, towards him when he decided to transfer, and then he started running his mouth. And man, I would love. I don't watch other football that's not Big 12 football. I don't want them to get my viewership, but I would love to see him just get absolutely smacked by a wide receiver.
What was he so mad at when he was leaving? Was he mad at Kleiman? Was he mad at the boosters? Like, who was he mad at?
I think it was just that he got a bunch of money from Oregon and it went straight to his head. It was just pathetic.
I mean,
so are you guys watching the Monday night game?
Yeah. I am. Did you just see that touchdown in the back of the end zone?
That's what I was reacting to a few moments ago. Yeah, that Lamar Jackson to Mark Andrews, and then Lamar completely missing a wide open receiver on the 2-point conversion.
Lamar, like I think back to like the AFC Championship last year. They're playing the Chiefs. He's out dueling Mahomes. He's whooping the defense like no problem in that first half. They have this huge lead. They're in Baltimore. Like they're about to go to the Super Bowl and shut up one of the like respectfully more annoying of the NFL franchises recently. But and then he just like he gets in his head too much and he just tries to force stuff where like when he doesn't, he's like playing smooth. He's a top 5, top 3 quarterback in the NFL easily. But then he tries forcing stuff and he just cannot complete. Like that pass to Zay Flowers. Over the middle, it's a simple crossing route. All he's got to do is lay it in front of him and lead him a little bit. And he tries to just throw a bullet, and because of that, it's coming off wobbly because he's off his back foot. Like it's just a bad mess.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of putting any touch on it, he's rushing himself too much through his progressions. And, when he feels the slightest bit of pressure, he's just letting it go.
Yes. And what's crazy is like this dude, we're talking about one of the best mobile quarterbacks in NFL history. Like this
Yeah.
man has legs and the ability to move, but here he is. He gets in these moments where he tries to stay in the pocket and he forgets that he can like step up into a throw, forgets he can make little movements. He almost like gets his feet like planted and then it's just game over from there because he's just like he's in too much of
He's
his
flat
head that he's
footed.
trying not to yeah. And it's like don't like yes, you want to improve your game, but like in the middle of a play or a middle of a drive, like why are you trying to make 3 million improvements, Like just play the game that you know how to play and like keep the drive alive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of funny that you see someone that's so athletically, talented that just it's all mental is his biggest issues because he has insane talent and as a runner, as a thrower, he can do it all if
Yes.
he can get out of his own head.
Exactly. He just and like he's got they built around him so well. I mean, with Rashad Bateman, you have Zay Flowers, you got Derrick Henry now, Mark Andrews,
Tyler
Isaiah
Wallace.
Likely, Tyler Wallace. You got all these guys that are like his O line is amazing. Like he has it. If he just calms down, he will be he'll be so he won't be able to be stopped. Like he and like in those moments where he plays his game, his ability to read a defense and to slice up a defense with his legs and his arm is unmatched. But then the moment he starts overthinking it or he almost tries to slow the pace down and not play his ball, he just crumbles and then he's forcing bad throws. He's getting sacked because he's not aware of everything and it's just sad and frustrating to see because you're like you could be easily a top five quarterback of all time if you would just slow down and make your reads and play your ball and not everyone else's ball.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like he crumbles under the pressure in really big time moments. When they really need him the most, that's when he fails to show up.
Yes.
Although I will say one thing about Monday Night Football, if you're not watching the Manning cast, you're watching it completely wrong.
Oh, I never watched the regular ESPN cast. Ever since they started bringing Bill Belichick in, I'm a
Yeah.
Manning cast brother. Even though both those guys were Brady, rivals, like they know ball
Oh,
and
I
they're funny
love I
about it
love
too.
those two.
it's basically just a it's basically just like one of these podcasts, but just professionally
It's
done
if
watching a game.
it's if one of us two was to call a Monday night game, except they actually played in
Yes.
the
Are you
NFL.
from Boston, Ollie?
My dad was born and raised Boston. All his family's like still out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then from the age of 6 to 12, we were living in New Hampshire, so it's just north, but like we spent a lot of time down in Massachusetts with his
Oh,
family.
cool.
And so I became like a big Pats fan, Celtics fan, Bruins. But my dad went to school at BYU, and then just like always talked about BYU, and that was where my college fandom went and came and has
That's
stayed.
awesome. Yeah, I wish I need to start watching the Manning cast because I've always watched the regular one because I always like to represent Troy Aikman because he's a fellow Okie. But I've just never, I don't know why, I just never have watched the Manning cast. I need to start
I
doing.
cannot stand Joe
Well,
Buck,
I'm
though.
I'm indifferent.
He is he is insufferable. I mean,
I don't like his
seriously.
NFL. I loved his MLB. I loved his Major League Baseball. I don't know why. But then again, the more I've listened to his podcast stuff he's done and interviews, the more I kind of dislike him. He just kind of
For who's that?
Joe Buck.
Oh, him and Chris Collinsworth are some of my least favorite guys to listen to. They just,
Dude, I hate Chris Collinsworth. And he loves Patrick Mahomes, but
yes,
I hate Chris Collinsworth.
it's
Like it's cool that you like Patrick Mahomes, and yes, he may be the greatest of all time, but calm down, bud. And
you're
he
calling games
is
for random teams, and he'll be like, "That was just like Patrick Mahomes," and I'm like, literally, no one cares. Like, call the game. Like, talk about the players in the game.
I'm to the point now, what kind of moving back to college a little bit, the crew that I'm starting to really dislike in college is Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt. I used to really like Joel Klatt, but boy, he's gotten on my nerves in the last couple of
they
years.
suck the Big Tens so
It's
hard.
so it's not just that, it's Joel Klatt has come off as such a condescending douchebag to me. Same way that
Yes.
Josh Pate has, in the same way that really and honestly,
Josh Pate got his network deal and just sold out
well,
completely. He'll say whatever they want him to
it
say.
I thought it was just really crappy of him that on Friday night before the game this last week, he's walking around Tempe with a Sun Devil shirt on. And, it's like, well,
Who's that?
Josh Pate.
Oh, he's a bum,
It was
dude.
that night. I guess I don't know if he was walking out the streets with it, but I did see where he was in his hotel room and he did his little crystal ball thing and he had the pitchfork on his shirt. And I'm like, dude, I wouldn't like that if he came to Oklahoma State and did that. If he had a Pistol Pete on his shirt, I'm like, no, don't do that. You're not even a fan of us. Like you're from Georgia or wherever your incest family came from. You know, I used to really like him too, but in the last
Yeah,
really
I did too.
this year is where it got bad, and because he was the one that was, and he's where I've kind of gotten sour on the whole conference realignment stuff because he was saying crap all summer about how the ACC it's fixing to happen, they're fixing to implode, nothing ever happened. So he's just a
Yeah.
clickbaiter, in my opinion. But
Although to be fair, I talked to some people that had more knowledge than the average person into it, and there were a lot of talks that were happening,
yeah,
and
but
it
he
could
made it
have
sound like
there
it was
it was
imminent.
literally a
He made it
he did
For
he
what is
really
this?
did
do it, Ollie.
the ACC coming
Oh,
imploding into madness
Yeah,
and all
but
that, which I hyped it up a little bit too on my show, but I was excited because look how excited Clemson fans
well,
were. I mean, that's what got me excited about it.
you know, Sam, he loves the whole conference realignment stuff, and I like it too. I'm not against it, but a lot of people got exposed in this last 3 years of being frauds for their beliefs in
yes.
it, and it just like Greg Swain here in Oklahoma, like the dude is so polarizing because I grew up and he used to host all the basketball tournaments in the state. I mean, I liked him for many years, and then he starts coming out talking about college football. I mean, him talking about college football and him acting like he's an expert at that is like me saying I'm an expert in astrophysics. Like the dude does not know what he's talking about at all. But him and what's that one kid's name? It's the KU fan, Sawyer something. That it was all day, every day. Every tweet he had was like realignment, like scenarios. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we seriously
Yeah.
doing this every day? Because all it is just mental gymnastics. Like, we don't know how it's going to end.
Yeah,
We have no idea
exactly.
how it's going to end. For all we know, we're all going to get, swallowed up by the ACC at the next, grant of rights agreement. We have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, and part of my deal is that, I love the Big 12 so much that I don't think it's possible in my brain to imagine a world where the Big 12 doesn't exist. And the way that they had began the year with Brett Yormark, I really thought that he would have kept some of those wheels rolling a little more than he has.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just a waiting game to see what happens with Florida State and Clemson. Because if they get out, there's a home for them here, and we would welcome them. But that's probably one of their only options.
Yeah. I mean, I would welcome them with open arms, but the one thing that I do know about Florida State is you are getting Utah 2.0.
A
You're
diva.
getting Utah 2.0 with that fan base. And
For who is that?
Florida
Yep.
State,
Oh yeah.
and
Yep.
those two, man, they would either absolutely love each other or they would absolutely hate each other. I don't know which way
I
would
feel
go.
like there's always I would think it's the latter because I just think of like respect, like Oregon and Utah were like this, like they were mouth kissing each other for no damn reason. Like Utah would get their pants pulled down and just absolutely booty slapped, and then next thing you know, they're just like, and then Utah is like, oh my gosh, like I just love the Ducks, like blah blah blah, and I'm like, they just bent your ass over at home,
Yeah.
and you're like, you guys are on your knees already, and it's like they still to this day do it. Like Oregon before the season was like hyping the shit out of, pardon the French, but they were hyping up Utah like crazy, and I'm like, and Utah's doing the same, and I'm like, you guys are now in different conferences, and like they're like number one in the nation. You guys aren't doing anything, and you're acting like you guys are still on the same level. Like you guys are not anywhere close.
No.
And it's just so funny because it's just there's always two programs in the conference. I feel like that are so so detached from all the other programs that they think they're like the cream of the crop, and they're just mouth kissing each other while the other ones are still playing ball.
Well, I saw the other day where well, I won't say who it was. It's a pretty no. I mean, you guys will probably know. Oh, there goes Justice Hill, baby. Go Pokes. Yeah, baby. Tulsa's finest right
All
there.
I'm
right,
a few
Lad
seconds
McConkey, give me a
behind.
tutty.
Yeah.
What were you saying though?
No, it was an Oregon account or Oregon fan account. Not like a fan account, but it was an individual. It's a big Oregon fan who, after Iowa State missed the field goal the other night, or when Utah missed the field goal, to tie it up with Iowa State, he wrote this thing. I'm so heartbroken, and put 1,000 little heartbreaking emojis. I'm like, why do you care what Utah does so bad?
Why are y'all polishing each other's
why? I mean,
knobs?
and here's the deal: the fans can love each other all they want, but if if their administration wanted Utah so bad, they could have went out there and really vouched for them to get in the Big Ten. They're all in for themselves. Like, I don't get these weird alliances. Like, now, granted, there's teams in the Big 12 that I honestly like more than others. Like, I've always respected Kansas State. I've always have. And I'm not just saying it because I'm on Tree's show. There's always been a mutual connection.
Well, that's how I am with Oklahoma State too. I think it's just we're close,
Yeah.
and we both have great
Well,
rivalries with
our
Oklahoma.
schools mirror each other. We're both ag schools. We're
Hmm.
not in the, like, you're not in the Kansas City metro and you're not in the Wichita metro. We're not in the Tulsa metro and we're not in the Oklahoma City metro. Like, there's a lot of similarities there. But like, I've always really appreciated Kansas State. I've always appreciated West Virginia. And really, I've always appreciated TCU. Like, and now I
Yes.
appreciate BYU because BYU kind of mirrors kind of our values. Whereas, like, now I know Kansas State people like Texas Tech. I just can't. I mean, I've tried. I just cannot. Like, something about them wasting good tortillas just makes me mad as a fat person.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's stupid.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I get
But
behind
the
that
fact
because,
that
like, where do you come with
yeah,
tortillas?
and then the fact that like Oregon and Utah have this weird connection, I just find it so bizarre. That's just so weird to me. Like, and I've always preferred
Yeah.
Washington over Oregon. Like, their stadium's cooler. It's just Yeah, Oregon. Them turning into this money hungry.
Oregon has some fire uniforms, though. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are cool. Some of them I think are just kind of. It's like, what in the world is it?
Too
Well,
much.
it's kind of like Iowa State. Like, do you guys hate your school color?
The black
Do you
and
guys
white.
hate your school colors that bad? It's like the one year.
Oh, Iowa State.
Yeah, it's like one year they played Iowa, and it's like you're wearing almost the exact same color as your freaking rival. Like, what are you doing?
Iowa State. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I've had some rough interactions with some Big 12 teams, and like ASU, I call them still Pac-12 because they were trashy when I went down for the game last Saturday,
Yeah,
or
you
was
were
it a couple days
posting
ago?
about that.
Yeah, I was like, you guys are dicks. But it's the Pac-12. Like, what do I expect? Same with Arizona. Same with Utah, Colorado. Like, what do you expect from a trash, classless conference? But then Iowa State got to be one of the. There are some good ones I've interacted with on Twitter. Like I'll preface with that because I'm not saying all of them,
Sci-Tie guy. I'm
but
gonna be on his show for Farmageddon on Wednesday, so don't
a
forget to
lot of
check that out. But he's a great one. But I know what you're talking about.
they're just like I remember last year in Provo, we're playing Iowa State in basketball. And we're beating them. We're doing a pretty good job, and they like one of their players like elbows straight to one of our guys' neck on the free throw line, and they're like blah blah like you guys are soft like straight to the neck, and they're like, you should do it again, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys are so trashy. And then we went and played at the Hilton or whatever their little mini high school arena that
Yeah.
we had to go play in was. And they're just like saying the same saltiness that I'm just like, you know what? Listen, corn dudes. Like, this is wild. Like, you guys aren't that crazy. And here they are. And I've never in my life cheered harder for another Big 12 team. And I'm becoming, my uncle is from Kansas. All my cousins are huge K-State fans. And the closer it gets to that Iowa State game, the closer I'm hoping they go belt to ass on Iowa State. And not only because it would help BYU, which is just a plus, I just would love to see all their fans get kind of shocked at home by Avery Johnson putting up 200 yards on them. Like, I'm all for Cheryl Yost coming out and just beating the tar out of ISU on Saturday.
I would absolutely love that. And it's also the fact that I don't know if you're familiar with the character or not, but Cyclone Jim Carrey is just, I don't even know what to
Oh, is that the
say.
dude? Was
I
that the dude in the
mean,
basketball game last year?
yeah, yeah, that
Who is
looked
this?
just like Jim
Yeah, I remember
Carrey.
him.
Like dead serious. He looked just like Jim Carrey. And I saw him at the Big 12 tournament, actually. I didn't say anything to him because I was like, I'm not even gonna start that, but
Yeah, I like Cyclone Larry, and I like some of those.
He's funny.
Cyclone Larry is a goat.
But I've never, even like during game weeks, I guess I'm looking down the wrong corner or something, but I can't find any of their fans to argue with. Like, I've tried, and they're not there. But
For Iowa State?
yeah, I don't know what. I guess I don't know if they like shadow ban me or something where they can't find me. But I try my hardest, but I have seen some of the things that how they get like, especially with K State accounts, like they get ruthless, and even KU accounts, and but no, you know what? Here's my thing though. Some of my worst interactions with Big 12 schools, believe it or not, has been Baylor. That has been some of my worst interactions with other fans.
There are a few of those,
That
yeah.
that,
There's some
There's
bad
a few of
apples.
those
that
that
T
count.
Rex moron, yeah, some of them are just
Oh, yeah.
horrible. But
The thing, so like I totally get like making fun of BYU for like the church school because like it is, and like it's funny, but like some of it's low hanging fruit that it's like for these burner accounts, like try a little harder, and then they just go too hard on it that I'm like,
yeah,
it's not even like funny now,
yeah.
like it's just like you're just like being rude, and you're not even like that's one thing I loved about by the time we got to Oklahoma State, like they were so depressed that trying to start stuff with their fans, even to be funny, was like non-existent. But with K State before our game, I was like, now this is Big 12. Like this is fun. Like it's just like goofy. Like
No,
everyone's
that
having a good
rivalry
time.
week was epic. I
That was probably
mean,
one of the
that
best
was
Twitter weeks I've ever
perfect.
been a part of. Like that was just
Yeah.
insane.
We were just so sad by the time we got to BYU that we were just defeated.
Oh, and
We've given up.
we kind of got you guys, and we got like Utah and UCF, like all in these lulls that it was just like trying to trash talk fans, even just as like a joke. It was like talking to a brick
Yeah,
wall. And like the few accounts that would respond would be like, you would say something like, "Yeah, you're probably right," and I'm like, "Dang," I'm like, "Y'all ain't having any fun right now."
Yeah, we were too busy taste testing shotgun barrels at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You guys were trying to measure out bleach shots over there, and I was like, hey.
Well, the thing that with Baylor is, so Baylor is a lot like Penn State, which is the low-hanging fruit that people can make fun of that I don't go after. Like the rape stuff, like that's not funny. Like to me, it's like
No.
that's not something to joke around with. I mean, because, and here's my thing: is whatever you say on Twitter, college football Twitter is a small world, and whatever you say goes around. And last thing I want is to see an Oklahoma State fan make a joke about one of those girls that got raped, and then one of those girls see it. You know what I mean? It's like you're making, you're not, because that
100%.
girl's not going to see that you're making fun of the players, because you're not making fun of the players. You're making fun of the whole situation. And the other thing that I
Hmm.
don't like is like, so like the Waco siege back in '93, where the Branch Davidians and they burnt down that complex that killed all those people in it. And I don't joke about that shit because that's the thing that led to the Oklahoma City bombing, which two of my uncles were in. So like I'm not going to joke about that crap. But Baylor fans, what I don't like about them is you can be respectful to them about that stuff, but they are so oblivious that their closet is not clean. It's like
No.
they want to sit there and talk about, oh well, let's talk about Ollie Gordon getting a DUI. I'm like, why in the world is Ollie's DUI such a big deal when Georgia? I think that's part of your freshman class. You have to get one DUI before they even let you on the team. But this year when we played Baylor, that was one thing. Holy crap! You would have thought you were dealing with the moral police over there. It's like I wouldn't be saying anything about.
They've got like, for lack of trying not to get too religious, but like Pharisee type attitudes where they try and like call out stuff, and then the moment you do to them, there's like super hypocritical and like, how could you? That's so low. And I'm like, it's not worth obviously trying to throw. It's no one wins when you're both slinging mud,
Right.
but it's just like you guys can't be coming at other schools with stuff when your past is murky as anyone,
And then you look at it, and it's not just their football program. You look back to the
No.
basketball program and what happened when they almost got the death penalty, for the murder and all that stuff. I mean, they don't know when to quit talking sometimes. But
No, they really don't.
they're a really small fan base though. Like even that big stadium they got was way too big for them. Like every now and then they can fill it up, but if you look at it, 9 times out of 10, if that thing's a sellout, the other teams bring in the fans, a lot of the fans.
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely
Yeah,
I'm definitely on the
exactly.
TCU side of that rivalry.
100%. Plus, TCU burners are so
Uh,
entertaining. It's unreal.
I love as much as I've got beef with TCU since the Mountain West Conference days of BYU. Like the interacting with those guys, like you have like the distinguished Toad kid. He's unhinged, but that
Yes.
dude posts some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in my life. Same with Parker Gulp.
Yep. Parker
Easily
is
a
he's
top
a
5 account.
16-year-old kid and he's running the show on Twitter.
I every day I just laugh when he posts like his 5-star burner account, like schools that are reaching out to him.
Yeah.
Oh, it just kills me. I'm like, This kid's so funny.
Yeah,
Outside
no,
of the
he's good.
outside of the Big
He's
12
been
though,
And
thinking with
TCU Carter boys.
oh, amazing.
That's who I got running their STF account.
There's another one that's like Horn. What is it? I made them a trophy when they beat Utah for something, but they're just I love
My favorite is Uninformed Frog.
oh
He is plus he's got Bojack as his profile picture.
yes.
Like you can't beat Bojack Horseman.
He just
The
they
sun.
oh,
I
Yeah.
like
their uniforms too are some of the best in the like I love BYU uniforms and I think we're easily top, but like TCU's helmet game is
hmm And the
unbeatable.
spiked collars were so
Yes.
cool. And then the ones they did this year were just kind of
yeah,
blah.
I didn't like this year's.
But they weren't near as cool.
I think I
No.
think the Big 12 has some of the best burner accounts. Like we've
Oh,
got
yes.
Oh, by far.
BYU's got that Boney Fuller guy. Like he said
Oh, that dude is
he's just
hilarious.
got some jabs now. Like he doesn't tweet a whole lot, but when he does, it packs a punch to it. But like that's the thing though. Like you look at them, and then you look at someone like was that the Glass Half Utes or whatever. It's like constant L's. It's like
Well,
no.
and they just take everything so serious, which is like I feel a lot of the Utah burner accounts you see, they like take everything so serious and they get so offended and I'm like if you're on a burner, you got to have almost no feeling, no skin in the game,
Hmm.
and you got to be able to say and just run with whatever's thrown your way. Like one of the best on Twitter is that freaking SMU football 24 with
Oh,
his got
yeah.
it that he started. I remember talking mad crap like before we played him, and I kept getting these DMs. It's like I'm gonna like don't make me get my daddy like to come at you. Got it? And I was like, this dude he's tripping, and he just I like would just spam him and he still messages me every time BYU loses. He just goes at it, and I'm like, this dude is on fire this
And then
season.
he started getting his lawyer involved. What was the lawyer's name? Mike
Yes.
Hunt. Mike Hunt.
It's Mike Hunt, that's SMU
Yeah.
24.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
it cracks me
lawyer.
up. I'll tell you who else has got some good
Oh,
burners is Arkansas. Arkansas, they got. Oh
really?
my gosh,
I haven't seen many of
they
them.
I haven't seen any of
they are
them.
good, and some of them like, and even not just burners, just some shit posters. Like this year
Oh,
when we
yes.
played Arkansas, I mean they were just drilling us. But the good thing about it though was they were drilling us when they were beating us by 18, but when we stormed back and beat them, like they handled it so well. Like they were just like, oh, it's whatever. But like I knew if we would have ended up beating Utah this year, that it would have been like we would all been blocked for all the crap that they were talking. You know what I mean? But
Oh, Utah?
yeah,
Oh, I got blocked. The moment we won, I had over 150 tweets that I'd bookmarked throughout my preparations and much prayer and fasting for that day. And so I get on there after the game. I'm sitting there. I'm like leaving the stadium, and I'm getting ready to pull it out. And at least half of them had deleted their tweet and blocked me already. And I was like, "This
They
is
were
like."
like, we're
I'm,
not dealing with it.
I'm like, you guys have made a huge mistake.
yeah. There,
And so I'm just there's some chill Utah accounts, but a lot of them are just and they get the moment you say something, it's game on, and they are just so salty. And then you like will bring in stats, and they'll just start cussing you out and like saying anything they can, and you're like, oh, little brother's rattled, you know?
I remember one of the Utah accounts was railing on us, of course, for Ollie getting a DUI. That was the easy target this year. And then
Oh yeah,
like I was like looking up uh, Utah scandals. Like there has to be something, right? And then I looked it up. First thing pops up. Morgan Scalley drops a racial slur,
the N
and I'm
word.
like,
Yep.
okay, buddy, here we go. I'm like, well, it does suck that we're dealing with the moral police over here in Salt Lake City, but at least my coach never dropped an N bomb to recruits, and they were like, oh, well, your guy's Republican. I'm like, Okay, what does that have to do with
He
the N
loves
word?
America. What's wrong with
Where
that?
is there an N word in that? Oh, by the way, yeah, our whole roster that is 90% African American love Gundy. So don't
No,
even drop
it's
the
Yeah.
fact that you think he's a racist. That's just lazy.
they'll go crazy. Like I remember people were so we have a basketball player, Jimmer Fredette, that was like amazing in college. Didn't
Oh,
do much in the NBA, which is sad because he was he was outdoing Kawhi Leonard at San Diego State. And then he played in the Olympics this year, and there were youth accounts like crapping on him because he got injured and like making fun about how of course the BYU players like injured and stuff. And then the moment Cam Rising gets taken out by a middle linebacker dressed as a friggin' Gatorade cooler, they like lose it if you talk about their precious Native American Jesus, Cam Rising. Like they worship that dude.
Is he
And
native?
it's like the moment you make jokes, he goes after you.
Is Cam native? I thought he was Hispanic.
I thought he was both.
Is he? I don't know.
I don't know fully either,
Well,
but I just know
that was
they
what was
like
funny.
love
see,
that dude.
we're crossing the very fine line of using a racial slur ourselves here. Apparently.
Well, I'm native, so I'm safe.
Oh, so it's fine for you to
I'm
say
safe
it.
on this side of the fence. But
I'm probably not safe over here, but I just can't
I'm
stand
the
when
whitest.
they.
I'm one of the whitest people you
what
know.
cracked me up though was during the week that we played Utah. They were one of the guys. I can't remember who it was. If it was OSU Zach or if it was OSU Raccoon or Buffalo OK State. I can't remember who did it, but one of our burner accounts was railing on Utah and said it wasn't Buffalo OK State because he's a Christian guy that you can't even get a cuss word out of. But I love the dude to death. I love Buffalo OK State.
He's a great
He's
one. He
amazing.
is
He's a
awesome.
good
He's a
dude.
tremendous person. I can't remember.
Shout out Buffalo K
Oh yeah, he's
State.
the goat. But what was funny though was one of the guys, one of our burners, made the comment after we beat Utah, they're gonna have to call their trip back home the Trail of Tears. Okay, not
Oh.
cool for the most part, but you got to keep in mind Oklahoma. The word Oklahoma means land of the red man. Okay, that's what Oklahoma means. And all these white liberal Utah fans came in there and started just how rude that is. And Native Americans are product of genocide. And I'm sitting there like, I'm gonna chime in. I was like, hey bro, I said
Yeah, no, and
before you
I'm on Oklahoma State side on that because as someone who's spent a lot of time in the Tulsa area and other places in Oklahoma, drag racing and going to football games and basketball games and stuff like that, they are very proud of their Native American heritage.
right.
They really are, and it's on display everywhere.
What they did was they were telling us about what the Trail of Tears was. And I said, hey homie, I'm gonna let you know something right now. My whole family came from North Carolina, Cherokee, North Carolina, to Westville, Oklahoma on the Trail of Tears. Don't educate me about how my life is and how poor my life is. I'm just fine. I'm not over here trying to tell people what to say and what not to say. And I was like, oh, well, you're racist.
Utah.
I'm like,
Oh,
oh, what
sorry.
the? I'm racist against my own family? Like, what in the world?
Utah has some of the craziest like white virtue signalers, especially on Twitter. Like they'll just they'll like come at you about stuff with no
That they're not
regard.
even involved in.
No. And like I remember one fan, like it probably wasn't the best, but they were like, can we call Utah versus Oklahoma State every year like Cowboys versus Indians, like old school like NFL kind of stuff. And people like lost it on him, and every account that's losing it on
That
him
that's
are
a
these
great
white
one.
these white liberal accounts. And like I saw a couple that were like, I'm native and I think that's awesome. And I was like, okay, like
That
so
was
this is
me.
just because we want a virtue signal.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is if Utah would do a little bit of research, they would find out that Oklahoma State has the highest percentage of Native American students of any college in the United States. So suck on that, Ute fans.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't get
no.
it. They're just They're
Look,
I have no.
back to our original point though about like them making fun of everybody getting hurt, but then Cam Rising gets hurt, and they put this on themselves. I mean, they
Yes.
squarely put it on themselves every single time, and I hate to say it, but KU, man, they had some burners this year, threatened to they're putting bombs underneath Avery Johnson's car and all kind of stupid crap like that. But
Did I miss that?
you saw it, Dree, for sure, didn't you?
No,
The
what was
what?
that?
The KU burner accounts saying that there was a bomb underneath Avery Johnson's car.
Oh
No.
Yeah,
yeah.
and then saying
Who was that again?
I forget the name of the account, but then they also said like they were posting these cryptic videos of like the plane flying into the World Trade Center, saying this is what's going to look like in Manhattan on Saturday. I'm like,
Oh my
that's a
gosh.
terroristic threat. Like everybody's
Yeah.
like, hey
Like, you
FBI,
guys can't be doing that even from behind a burner account, you know?
yeah, it's
KU fans are special. That's for sure. Oh,
yeah. Like, how in the world do you
but
say that
yeah.
about like it's? I don't know. I never get so worked up about a football game. I'm here to joke around and have fun with you, but by no means am I ever going to make it personal. But like
100%.
Ole Miss fans, they never do that either. They never make it personal. They never block people. They never, they never storm out. Ain't that
Yep.
right, Ollie?
Yeah, no, it's just funny.
My favorite is
Oh.
like, you get those people that'll, like, you get it a lot from Utah fans where they'll block you and then they'll like start talking, they'll like shit talk you behind the block.
Sounds like Ole Miss.
And I've had that a couple times and I'm like, you guys are clowns. Oh, Ole Miss STF, bro. What a clown, bro. I can't even.
That was a
Bro's
great one
talking mad
because
shit on BYU. And then I start coming at him and show these videos and stats about how they've never beat us and stuff. Next thing I know, I'm blocked. And then he's tweeting more about BYU. I'm like, this dude's got to be softer than Charmin. Like, this is insane.
yeah. No, he was really really butthurt over that.
Then they lost and he went AWOL because he was so depressed that he just talked so much crap for him, Texas A&M, and Bama to all lose. And all post this
Yeah.
on it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier this year when we played,
Hey, we got Mouse Cat Cole coming in, and I want him to get his thoughts in on some
Perfect.
of this.
I completely did not listen to anything you guys were saying. What were y'all talking about?
Well, we were discussing
race,
the
politics, and religion.
pretty much. Well,
right.
and then yeah, we have pretty much driven off of the course of college basketball for the last little bit. So
All right. So what I'm hearing is it's a good thing that I came in here and we're talking ball.
yeah,
We're talking ball.
We're not talking
Talk
about Project
ball,
yeah,
boys.
2025
Okay.
anymore. We're back on ball now.
Damn
we're
right.
back on ball. Let's get this show straightened out.
All
Oh,
right.
what did you see from the game tonight?
I finally saw Coleman Hawkins play like what we paid for. I feel like
Yeah,
he was just lights out, and he was distributing the ball really well. Like that last pass that he had to Chore. Oh my gosh, that was a
very well done.
beautiful. Like the vision you have to have, and the awareness that a Chore had to cut to the basket on a wide open lane. It was just beautiful execution all around. And I mean, like we shot the three really well tonight, and I really did not expect that from this team at all. Like I know Jerome Tang teams or just K-State basketball teams suck at shooting the three. Like it wasn't that bad this go around. Like we were 11 for 20 from three. Like that's great for
Yeah,
K-State center. Over 50%. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And we had what, four players in double digits on the scoring side. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's huge.
absolutely.
That's just something that we haven't seen in quite some
Yeah,
time.
and down the stretch, I mean, I tweeted it out. We need to get Buddy Rich more minutes. That dude is just a wrecking ball down in the paint, dude. Give him the ball, and he will bully anybody down there on the block, and he will make a fool out of you. It's crazy. Just give the man more minutes. I know he played more minutes because it was kind of a blowout at the end, but just in regular rotation, give him more minutes because that kid deserves to play.
Yes, he does. And, you could tell he had great intensity last year, is just that, the situation that all of the players last year were put in was not ideal for anybody.
No, absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
they kind of had to band-aid things as they went along last year. And this seeing what we saw in the second half of this game is everything that we should have seen all of last year and through the beginning of this year.
I tell you what, if this team looks like that going into Big 12 play, oh my God, that's going to be scary for everybody. Like I legit thought that our ceiling was going to be the Green Bay game. Like it just Hawson taking over and shooting a bunch of threes, trying to make them. And I mean, he was hot that day, so I mean, it worked out
Yeah,
in our
it
favor.
worked out.
But we can't obviously rely on that. Like today, we had a great shooting night. That's probably not going to happen a lot of the nights. But if it does, on the off chance, Jerome Tang is getting way too much criticism. If this team looks like this for a period of the season, Jerome Tang is getting way too much hate. And I mean, I love Jerome Tang. I've been giving him a bunch of criticism because this team just has not looked like a team. This is the first game I've seen from this team that they actually look like they're playing cohesively. And it was great. And we were only doing that for maybe what, 25 minutes, the last 5 minutes, and then the whole second half. It,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. And the fact that we only had, what was it, a 10-point lead at halftime.
yeah,
I mean, we had, for what talent that we have on this team, there was no reason that we shouldn't blow these teams out.
absolutely. If we have even like a decent shooting night against Liberty, we win. It's just that
Yeah,
simple.
exactly. Liberty shot lights out.
Yeah, I mean,
There's nothing you can do
Liberty's a good
about
team,
that.
though. Let's they are a good team. We should have beat them. Let's just say that. But
Yeah.
I just really like the overall effort, the overall cohesiveness of the team. Uh, the ball screens were actually working, and we were getting it down to the post, and we were working that pretty well. So that's what I've been clamoring for. But I mean, extra threes. If we shoot 20 threes, we at least should hit 8 of them, and we hit 3 over the usual percentage. So I'm happy about that. But I'm just scared of what will be with this team if they keep shooting so many threes and living and dying by them. And it's I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those deals that either they're really hot or they're really not. And it reminds me a lot of Jay Crowder, where either in his time in the NBA, especially with the Suns, because I'm a big Phoenix Suns fan, and I loved having Jay Crowder, on the Suns team. But if he had a night where he was on fire from three, if he hit one, he'd hit them all. But if he misses, if he starts off cold, he'd just be cold the entire night. Like he wouldn't even make a few.
Yeah, and that pretty much describes the whole K State basketball team right now. I literally said it in the group chat. Dare I say, when we are hot, we are one of the best teams in the nation. from Beyond the Arc.
Absolutely.
If we're not, we're one of the worst. It's just there's no in between, and you never know what you're going to get. So I'm hoping it's not like that, but it's kind of looking like it. Over
It's a very big possibility.
absolutely, and I mean it comes to that and turnovers, which I didn't see how many turnovers we had, but it didn't look like we had too many miscarries with the ball. Never mind. We we lost the turnover battle. They had 13. We had 18. So it was
Oh,
not great, but
yeah. We had a lot of issues with turnovers last year too, and
yeah. I
so
mean,
I think it's a product of the offense that we run or lack thereof,
yeah,
honestly.
I agree. It's just it's a constant theme with Jerome Tang teams. We will at least average 15 turnovers a game, and we just want our star players to act like star players and make their own shots, which sometimes in college basketball you can't make your own shots. Sometimes your coach has to draw you open. And that's just not what Tang is doing right now. And I know he's more of a defensive minded guy, but that's
There has to be some offense.
exactly. You got to have at least a little bit of offensive prowess to just draw up a play and hopefully get a quick two or something, which we don't live in the post enough. With all this length and with all this just weight we have in the middle, we don't use the paint enough. It's baffling to me, and that's kind of why I'm clamoring for Buddy Rich to get in there. Just put him down low on the block and let him eat.
Well, yeah, exactly. And, he has a lot of intensity when he has the ball in his hands. If he feels that he can score on a possession, he's going to score. Like, if he decides he wants to score, you can't stop him.
The willpower on that
And,
kid is out of this freaking ceiling. Sorry, that's my one of the day. I swear. Um, he he gives the most energy besides Doug McDaniel. He gives the most spark out of this team that I've probably seen in a few years. From it's probably since Desi Sills since I've seen that out of a bench
yeah,
player.
we need someone like Desi Sells again because he was absolutely electric. And when he made big plays, everybody got fired up and
Everybody
was
knew about
into the
it.
game at that point.
Everybody was talking, dude. It's what I miss about the 2022-23 team. It's just they were talking their crap, man, and it was just crazy to see. But even Marquise, he was a little dude, you know. He was just talking his
Yeah.
stuff, dude. He would, bro. How many dimes did he have during the NCAA tournament? Like upwards of 40, like 50
Yeah, I
something.
can't remember what it was, but it was something
He broke an
insane.
NCAA record is what
Yeah.
yeah, the tournament record, which is crazy because I mean he was the cog that made that Cats offense go in 22. That was the sole guy that made the offense go because every he would I mean, we've literally ran this offense for 3 years now. High ball screens, see what Marquise does with it, go down to the cup, and then have everybody crash down and see what happens.
Yep. Yeah, and him being able to lob it to Keontae, I mean, that was beautiful every single time they did
Oh
it.
man, it was pure. It was like it was art. It's an art form. An alley, a lob
Never got
play.
tired of seeing
Oh my
that.
gosh, the Michigan State that Michigan State lob
Yes. The
was
one where he's pretending to argue with
playing, and then he
coach.
just like whatever. I'm chucking this thing up, and Keontae. Oh my god! But 180
Yeah, it was beautiful.
reverse, dude. It was just a beautiful play, And oh my gosh, I miss that team, but I can't really get stuck in the
What I
past, I
would
guess.
give to relive that.
Yeah, I guess I can't really get stuck in the past too much. So, um,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And the worst part was is that I spent a lot of time last year going to games and talking to players after the
mhm.
games. It was just, you could just tell the vibe with the team after the whole Naquan Tomlin situation was just, it just wasn't right without him there. It
Yeah,
really wasn't.
he was that spark. He was the life of that team because he would just bring an energy that no one else would bring. Like I love Naquan Tomlin. He was probably my favorite player on that
I do too.
2022 team. Just because he he could do everything. He could well he didn't shoot the three as well, but that's kind of
That's different. I mean,
yeah.
that's not what we had him for.
Yeah, he played a
I
completely
mean,
different role. He was a slasher, and he was getting to the cup no matter what you were gonna do. If he was in front of you, don't matter, jumping over you and through you and getting to the cup. It's just what Naquan was, and he was. Oh man, it was just special. That whole team was just special.
yeah, no, it really was. And I got to talk to him after the Memphis Wichita State game when they came to Wichita
Oh,
State. We went to
dude.
that one, and I got to talk to him, and I was like, "Man, like, just how do you feel about it?" He goes, "I was that it was not what I wanted. I wanted to be there with my family in K State, and that." And it threw his season off too because he had to jump into a new system and learn a whole new system,
Yeah.
with new coaches and new teammates and everybody else.
Yeah, that whole situation literally derailed the Cats season last year. No matter
It
what,
did 100%.
yeah, no matter what changes you would have made to the roster, no matter how many amazing recruits you got in the transfer portal, nothing was saving that team from what Richard Litton and the
Yeah.
administration did in Naquan Tomlin, which I mean, it is wrong. I will say that it was wrong of him to do that, obviously,
Yes.
but to be that stubborn and
Well, because the whole team talking to him and everybody else, before he was released from the team,
you know,
they were all preparing for him to rejoin the team. He was working out
dude,
with the
exactly.
players and stuff,
It was literally
and
just
everything else. He was warming up on the court.
it was literally just Dick Linton that he felt his ego was hurt and he didn't want that for his university. Dude, if he would have stayed there, we would have made the tour. We probably would have gone on another Elite Eight run.
No, I guarantee it because we wouldn't have had the distraction that we had out of that whole deal. It would have been resolved and we would have been able to move forward and been just fine.
Heads clear, moving forward with the season. We would have gone 14-4 in the Big 12, and we would have gotten like a 5 seed. I
Yeah, it would
100%
have been
see
a
it.
lot nicer,
Yeah, it would have been.
but you never know.
Yeah, I guess we're just speaking in hypotheticals at this point, but
We're just
we're
dreaming of what could have been.
reminiscing of times past. Oh man, but
In other breaking news,
mhm.
Auburn just defeated Iowa State
No way. What?
83 to
Dude, we
81,
are
and I thought Iowa State was
smoking on that.
leading.
Oh my god, we are smoking on that Taman Lipsy pack, dude. Dude, oh my god.
He scored 6 points.
6?
Yeah,
That's
6, 2, and
that's
2.
actually god awful. Oh my gosh.
That is horrible.
That is crazy.
Gilbert had 23, and that was their highest score.
But Keyshawn Gilbert's just a dog. He
Yeah,
is
he is.
he is a certified dog.
They also flipped basically performance. Iowa State was up by 16 at half, and then Auburn outscored them by 18 in the second half.
Dude, yeah, I see that. Oh my gosh, that box score is so
That's
lopsided in
crazy.
both halves. Wow. That's
just
crazy.
insane.
Wow.
I want to see turnovers fairly even, 12-9, rebounds fairly even. Blocks, though, Auburn had 4, Iowa State had nothing.
Yeah.
Even their like field goal percentage,
They were
47.5,
The turnovers
47.2, like
and 23 to 18 fouls.
it's really not that bad of a game, but I want to see. It's not. I can't see the. Oh, here it is. Points off turnovers. But none of them had points off turnovers. That's insane for a combined 21 turnovers.
That is insane.
that is wild.
No, it does say 4 points for Auburn and
Oh, then
19 for
mine.
Iowa
My
State.
app's being stupid. I was like, that sounds nearly impossible.
Yeah, but that what's that one crazy dude that's going to be going to the NBA on Auburn?
It's
Oh gosh, dang it.
Is it Jones?
I can't think of his name.
Denver Jones? No.
Uh
I think it's number 13 on the roster.
Is it Miles Kelly?
Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly.
Yeah, Miles Kelly,
That dude's
yeah.
going to be crazy. He's either a one and done or like he's going to come back for another year and go and stupid in this Auburn offense. But yeah, back to the Cats. I'm just glad we got a good-looking win on the score sheet. So that's all I was hoping for tonight. Let's go.
Oh, there it
We
goes.
got it.
Oh,
Well,
jeez.
I guess there's a censor bar you gotta edit in, I guess. Oh, that's horrible.
I mean, what more do you have to say with no profanity?
Yeah, no kidding. It's just.
And then that dude just caused me to drop like 4 of them.
Oh my gosh, dude. This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be editing that out
Slight intermission.
before this one goes up to YouTube.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Lord help us all.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. That was horrible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was absolutely brutal. Well, I think that's a good time to go ahead and end this before it gets any worse. Oh, let's go ahead and end on a high note here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, so any final thoughts from you guys?
The Cats looked really good tonight. Coleman Hawkins actually looked like he got paid $2 million to play basketball. And hopefully it's just on and up from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully that we can continue the pace that we saw at the end of that game or the second half of that game and continue that through the season. Ollie, what about you?
Yeah, as football winds down, like we have one last week of really exciting ball, especially for the Big 12 with all of the different, all the different ties we have and people that are close enough to make the conference championship should make up for a good week. But as it winds down, I'm very excited to get closer and closer to conference play and then see where that goes. Because I think that we genuinely could get half of the teams from the Big 12 into the tournament. and have a pretty good chance at making a Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four, even if not a championship run with some of the teams we have coming out of the Big 12. And I think a lot of conferences and teams are going to underestimate the Big 12, whether it's in the football CFP or it's in, the tournament. So I'm excited to kind of shock the world and shock the nation and show the Big 12's here for ball.
Damn right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, no, there's a lot to look forward to in the way of Big 12 ball all the way around all year long.
Oh, yeah.
So with that being said, huge shout out to Arrowhead Nutrition and AM Creations who make our shirts. Until next time, y'all take care now. Go Cats.